I'm going to show you one of the most famous chess games ever played. Now this game is called the Opera Game because it was played in an opera house in 1858 in Paris, France by Paul Morphy, who was an American prodigy. He was only 21 years old at the time of this game and rumoured to be the first unofficial world chess champion. And he was playing against two players who were consulting their moves together while they were playing Morphy, the Duke of Brunswick and Count Isouard. Now, Paul Morphy, to give context, had been touring around America, showing how good he was at chess, beating many of the rumoured best chess players of that time, and now it was his time to go around Europe doing the same. And he was playing against two noble chess enthusiasts at the time. And Morphy, obviously, the first world chess champion was Wilhelm Steinitz, but that match was in 1886. So this game, as I said, was in 1858, a little bit before that time. So during this time, Morphy was said to be the first unofficial world chess champion, the strongest in the world at this time, and he was going around Europe now to show why he was regarded this highly in the chess world. Now, Morphy starts with pawn to e4, and pawn to e5 is played by black. Knight to f3, Morphy is attacking this pawn now in the centre, and black opts for the Philidor defence, defending this pawn. Now Morphy strikes open in the centre with d4. There's now two attackers in this pawn and only one defender by black. So something like knight to d7 is very natural defending this pawn, but here black already starts to go slightly wrong. They go bishop to g4, pinning this knight, and now Morphy takes advantage of this by taking in the centre. If black was to take back, this would be a blunder because now white can take off the queens and take this pawn in the centre of the board, and white would already have a very, very pleasant middle game position, up a full pawn, attacking the bishop and threatening a fork to win the rook. Therefore, after this pawn was captured in the centre, black opted to give up his bishop pair with bishop takes on f3, and Morphy recaptures this back with the queen. Now black takes his pawn back in the centre, and already in this middle game position, white has a slight advantage because he has the bishop pair. He has two bishops and black only has one. And when the position is open, bishops are valued slightly higher than we're told. When we first learn chess, that we're told bishops and knights are worth 3 points. But in open positions, bishops are worth about 3.5 because they can outmaneuver knights because they work very well on long diagonals. Whereas when there's lots of pawns and it's all blocked up, the bishop's functionality is very limited because they're staring at pawns. So after this pawn is captured back and white, or Morphy knows that he's slightly better because of this, he plays bishop to c4, threatening checkmate in one on f7. Now, there are a few ways for black to stop this. Queen to f6 is a very strong response because it defends the threat of checkmate in one and also looks to offer up a queen exchange. If we were to take, this would help black because they can develop their knight into the game. But in the game, knight to f6 was played to block this, and this is already a mistake. Now Paul Morphy, if you want to pause the video, you can try and find the move, but Morphy plays queen to b3, a great move, double attack on f7 and also on this pawn on b7, and there's no way for black to defend both of them. So black looks to defend this f7 pawn because it's more critical than the b7 pawn, because his king, if this gets checkmated, he loses the game. So queen to e7 is played, defending this pawn, and this next move shows great understanding by Morphy positionally. So here you may wonder, why didn't he just go and take this pawn right away? He's won a free pawn, he's attacking the rook. And the reason is because black would have a nice follow-up. He could play queen to b4, checking the king and threatening to win the bishop. So white has to accept this queen exchange. And after the queen comes off and the bishop takes back, checking the king, say something like bishop to d2 was played, attacking the bishop. Obviously, if black captures, we'd take back the knight. This would help white. We'd also be defending the pawn, but black would most likely retreat his bishop. And here, if you notice in this position, white would be up a pawn, but more work will be involved to try and convert this full point, if you can imagine, right? Because we're in a middle game, it's just a minor piece. I should say this is an endgame and this is a minor piece endgame. We are up one pawn, but this will be more work to try and convert this position than what Morphy played. Now, what Morphy played was after queen to e7, he doesn't grab this pawn. He plays knight to c3, developing his knight, defending this pawn, and he's still looking to take this one. There would be no check in that position because the knight covers this diagonal. And here, queen to b4 would not work because this pawn would be undefended. And once the king moves, something like queen to e6 can be played, with moves like bishop g5 pinning the knight, looking to castle, bringing the rook onto the king, and that king is not going to survive not castled on the back rank. So therefore, after knight to c3, pawn to c6 was played by black, now defending this pawn, and this pawn is defended as well. So how does white continue? Now both of these threats are parried. White keeps on playing chess principle based moves. The bishop is not yet developed, the last minor piece to get playing in the game, and he plays bishop to g5, pinning the knight to the queen. And now black is too aggressive and he plays a mistake. Pawn to b5. Now you see he's attacking the bishop. He's looking for Morphy to play a passive move like bishop to d3 or bishop to e2, retreating the bishop. But here, Morphy plays the first brilliant move of the game. He realizes that black's king is still in the center of the board. It's not castled yet, so his king safety is very, very weak. And he takes advantage of this by sacrificing the knight on b5, winning a pawn. So black takes back and bishop takes. So one piece has come off the board for 2 pawns. So as you see, black is up some material. He's +1, but material is not everything in chess. It's always the position which is present. You can be up a lot of material, but if your position is very bad, then white can, I'm not going to spoil it, but convert the advantage they have of the superior position, even though they're in a deficit of material, into a crushing attack or maybe a checkmating attack. Let's see what happens in this game. So bishop to b5, checking the king. Knight bd7 is played, blocking this. And again, the next question, how does white continue? This knight is pinned to the queen, and this knight is pinned to the queen. All minor pieces are developed, the queen's out, king safety for white. He castles queenside, and now you see there's some pressure on this knight on d7. And when you look at it from the black perspective, it's very, very difficult. Here, the simple threat in the position is bishop takes, winning a piece. The knight can't take because the queen would be dropped, and the queen can't take because the queen would be lost. Therefore, the natural move rook to d8 is played, defending this. And this is where Morphy plays an amazing, amazing move. He plays rook takes on d7, sacrificing the rook for the exchange. Again, the knight cannot capture because the queen would be lost. The queen cannot capture because it would be lost, so the rook takes. And now, again, how do we continue? What's Morphy's plan? He can't just sacrifice all this material and not have a plan, right? Of course, Morphy has a plan. This rook on h1 is not playing, so he brings his last piece into the game. Every piece is playing. And when you look at this position, even though black is up +3, as I was saying earlier on about material's not everything in a chess game, this bishop's not playing, it's stuck on f8, and so is this rook. It's doing nothing over here on h8, so if anything, Black's down -5 in the position. White's position is far superior. So here, obviously same again. The threat is to take off this rook, so black plays queen to e6. Now he's stepping away, so the knight defends this. And here white plays an amazing combination to finish this game off. And this all stems as well from some pattern recognition. This bishop is going to be very, very key to this attack, controlling these dark squares. First, white plays bishop takes d7 check. It has to be captured, otherwise the queen would be lost. So knight takes on d7 is played. And here we have an amazing move to finish off the game. Morphy plays not queen captures, that would be a horrible blunder. These squares, as I said, are covered by the bishop, so he sacrifices his queen with queen to b8 check. There's no squares for the black king to run, so this has to be captured off by the knight. Knight takes, and Morphy delivers checkmate in 17 moves with rook to d8 checkmate. An amazing, amazing game, said to be one of the most famous chess games ever played, and for any chess player we would always dream to have a game as picturesque as this one. So if you enjoyed and want to see more videos like this, make sure to drop a follow and subscribe.